to STEAM Education Hub. In today's tutorial, we'll be taking you through a topic, quadratic equation. Quadratic equation is an equation that is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Now, this a is a coefficient of x squared, this b is a coefficient of x, and this c is a constant. And making it equals to 0 makes it a quadratic equation. For example, we will have x squared plus 6x plus 8 equals to 0 as an example of quadratic equation. Another example, you have 2x squared plus 4x plus 12 equals to 0. It's another example of quadratic equation. And we have another one also, 3x squared plus 2x plus 10 equals to 0. This is another example of quadratic equation. We still have many more, but we'll be considering only this. Let's look at this. Now, x squared plus 6x plus 8 is equals to 0. I want you to look at this equation very well. You can see this equation is divided into 3 parts. That's in the expression part is divided into 3 parts. Let's count it. This one part, 1, 2, 3. You can see the 3 parts. Now, our target is, since we now have this as the first part, the second part, and the third part, we are to multiply the first part and this third part. You can see. So we are multiplying this and this together. So when we multiply the first and the third part together, we have 8x squared. This is the first thing, the first step. I want you to take note. Remember, it's having a plus, so you remember the sign and be following with it. Now, the one that is remaining in the equation is this 6x. So the 6x will now have plus 6x. Now, the next step is what factor can we multiply together to give us 8, and when we add them together, it will give us 6. Now, first of all, let's bring out the factor of 8. The factor of 8 is 1, comma. The factor of 8 is, let's come here, 1, we have 2, it can go into 8, we have 4, can go into 8, and we have 8. So these are the factors of 8. Now let's look at this very well. For example, if we say 2 multiplied by 1, it will not give us 8. So it's not a very good factor. But let's look at 2 multiplied by 4. This will give us 8. Okay, we'll have 2 multiplied by 4 to give us 8. Okay, let's look at 8 multiplied by 1. It will still give us 8. But let's consider something. 8 multiplied by 1 will give us 8. But remember, our target is the factors will multiply together that will give us 8x squared. And when we add them together, will give us 6x. So I want you to take note very well. So with these two factors now, let's pick the first one. For example, we have 2x multiplied by 4x will give us 8x squared. And let's look at it again. If we can add them or subtract them, that will give us this 6x. Now, let's add it together. We have 2x plus 4x will give us 6x. Will give us 6x. You can see it has given us this number at the middle, which is our 6x. Now, let's look at this. Let's consider this very one. Like 8x, we say 8x multiplied by x. You know, x that is standing ordinarily is 1x. So we don't need to add 1 as a coefficient. So let's have this. We now have 8x squared. That is okay. But let's look at it. Whether we can, by the time we add them or subtract them, can give us the number and it will give us 6. Now, let's add them together. 8x plus x will give us 9x. It means it's not okay. Then let's look at, let's see if we can subtract it and give us the number at the middle. 8x minus x will give us 7x. It means this is not a suitable factor that we can use for this. So the suitable factor is this. So our target is, let's replace this very factor. Let's replace it with, in the position of 6x, we are replacing 2x plus 4x. Now let's look at this. In the position of this 6x now, let's take note. we now have x squared plus, remember this, we have 2x plus 4x. Let's bring it 2x plus 4x. And then followed by plus 8 equals to 0. You can see if you observe in this very equation, if you observe this in this very equation, it has been divided into about 4 parts. Let's count them. This is one part, this is the second part, this is the third part, and this is the fourth part. Now, let's try to group them using a bracket. So, we will now have to group them like this. One part, the second part, since it's divided into 4 parts. I hope you are following. Now, if we look at this very well, by the time we group them, now, the first step we have to look at here is noting is that the factor that will go into this, remember, this x is 2 here. X squared means x times x, remember? Let me bring it out. X squared means x times x. And then this one is what? Ordinary x. I want you to take note of that. So we are looking for the factor that will come out to give us, that will go into x and will go into 2, since they are having the same coefficient. Now, let's bring it out. X is a very common factor between the two, so we'll bring out x into x plus 2. You can see it. Now, followed by plus. Then followed by what? Now, if we consider this very well, if we consider this, we have 4x plus x. Now, this 4 is a common factor here, because 4 can go into 4 and equally go into 8. So we'll factor out 4. So if we factor out 4, we have 4 into x plus 2 equals to 0. Now, I want you to take note of something. If we say x multiplied by x, it will take us back to our x squared. X multiplied by plus 2 will give us plus 2x. And then 4 multiplied by x will give us 4x. And 4 multiplied by 2 will give us 8. Now, I want you to observe something again. These two brackets, you can see they are having the same coefficient, which makes us feel that we are very correct. So if you solve to any point, you discover that these two brackets are not the same, it means we are wrong. So let's take note of this very well. Now, the next stage I want you to take note is, look at this very well. X and plus 4 are outside the bracket, and these two brackets are, so the ones that are outside the bracket will bring them together. X plus 4. You can see it, x plus 4, we bring them together. Then followed by what? You know the two brackets are the same, we only pick one. So now I have x plus 2. And remember it's equal to 0. Now, I want you to look at it. So the factor we are looking at here is 4 and 2. So we are trying to solve for x, remember, that is our target. Our target is for us to get x. So what is now our x? Our x will either be x plus 4 is equals to 0. Are you following? Now, or x plus 2 is equals to 0. And you see, we break them down into 2 because they are having equals to 0. Now, let's solve for this. For us to get this now, x plus 4 is equals to 0. For us to get this, we are taking this 4 plus 4 to the other side. So when we cross this equality sign, the sign will change to minus. So we now have x is equals to, since this 0 is the owner of the house, we'll leave it there. It will now be 0. Taking it to the other side will be minus 4. And then you know that our x will be equal to 0 minus 4 will be minus 4. This is our first x. Now let's pick this now. We'll have x plus 2 is equals to 0. Now take notes. We are solving for this very one. Now, when the same thing is applicable to this also. So when we take this plus 2 to the other side, when it crosses the equality sign, the sign will change to what? Minus. We now have x is equals to 0 minus 2. Now I want you to take note of something here. So 0 minus 2 will equally give you what? Minus 2. So our x is either equals to minus 4 or minus 2. You can see we have solved for this. You can see. So I want you to take note of this very well. I hope you are following to this point, you understood it clearly. So if you have any question, you can drop it in the comment box. I want you to like, comment, invite others. Welcome.